Okay, before we go to public participation, I'd like to hear from our community boards. First up is Fendleton, Waimari, Harewood, and Jason and Bridget. Welcome to the table.
Good morning, everybody. We're pleased to share that the final stage of the Juniper Place Reserve Planting Project has now been completed, wrapping up a 12-month journey of collaboration, learning and community engagement. As part of the Council's Urban Forest Plan, Juniper Place Reserve, situated directly behind Hoydvale School, is the an increase in tree coverage. Recognising a unique opportunity to involve local students, staff contacted the school's principal, and a number of students enthusiastically came on board to take part in the application process. As the project evolved, Fire and Emergency NZ joined the conversation to discuss fire smart planting. Students were introduced to low flammability species and safe planting practices. The final planting day was held on the 22nd of July and was a great success thanks to strong team effort. 110 native revegetation plants and 17 trees were planted. Around 30 students from Hoydvale School took part, and students completed the revegetation planting in just under an hour.
So next up, the Burnside Brynworth Community Network, BBCN, is leading a community-led research project to better understand how people in Burnside and Brynworth connect, communicate and participate. Strong focus on inclusion and well-being, the project will support future planning by identifying participation barriers, recognising what's working well and exploring ways to strengthen local identity, connection and safety. It's a collaborative effort with local groups leading engagement across the community, including young people, older adults, families, social housing tenants and Mandarin speakers. Community governance staff from the Fendleton Waimari Harewood team are supporting the project through coordination and resourcing. A range of tools are being used, including online and paper surveys, interviews, focus groups and pop-up sessions. Both quick and extended surveys are available in Mandarin. To support accessibility, 7,000 homes will receive a paper version of the quick survey and translated flyers. Engagement runs through July and August 2025 with a community hui at the Burnside Primary School on Tuesday the 4th of November to share early insights to help guide next steps. Final findings will be presented in mid-November to the wider network and community partners. And then still for me for this one, if any of you have driven down Clyde Road, Craig Road and Maidstone Road over the past 12 months, you will be aware there is significant work underway to improve the wastewater infrastructure. The work is being done in 3 stages and began in September last year. The Clyde Road stage was completed some months ago and the Craig Road stage has just recently been completed. The final stage is now Maidstone Road between Ilam and Waimari Road. This project has had a significant impact on traffic flows with roads closed and one-way systems in place. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Lynette Ellis and her team for acknowledging these impacts, particularly the increase in traffic on Memorial Ave. And we are pleased to hear they are making some changes to traffic light phasing and investigating other ways they can look at mitigating some of these impacts. We would also like to thank the public for their patience and understanding while these essential upgrades are being undertaken. The project is due to be completed by mid-2026.
I'm sure you're all aware of the Council's Computers to the Community scheme, which gifts pre-loved Council devices, including PCs, laptops and monitors to not-for-profit community groups across the city. Requests for computers are assessed by our local community development advisor, Natalie Daly, and supported by Katie McDonald as part of the community governance team. The past 12 months has seen an increase in demand on the scheme, with 630 devices being given to organisations and clubs ranging from cultural groups, sports clubs, early learning centres and disability support groups. Donations were also made to the 3 strategic partner community groups, Recycle a Device, Housing First and Housing Growth. Feedback from recipients clearly shows how valued the scheme is. Groups often say it's a lifesaver, as obtaining funds for computers is very difficult as it's a low priority compared to rent. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank those who made the decision to use the emergency mobile alert system when an older lady went missing a few weeks ago from the Bishopdale area. The alert resulted in a large number of local residents, including my wife, heading outside with torches and calling her name. It was a very cold night and people were very concerned about her well-being. As a result of the alert and the search, she was found and returned home safe and sound. We're so proud of our local Bishopdale community and thank everyone who checked their properties and those headed out to search for Beryl. A great outcome. Thank you.
Yep, Sam?
Just really quickly, hey, thanks for mentioning those, the investigation work that's happening around the traffic lights. Just so that anyone watching knows those lights, so they're doing the design work at the moment to put the green arrows in. So they've gone past the investigating stage and are actually going to put them in that. So that'll help. There's a couple more streets which need it, but Brent and the team are looking at it at the moment as well.
Yeah, run a quick one, please.
Yeah, I just, is there any other lessons we should learn from that traffic impact? Like when I've been through there, what I've noticed is there's multiple council projects all closing certain roads. So there doesn't seem to have been any thought to other works happening that have an impact on the traffic as well. Are there any sort of like debrief or post construction lessons learned that you guys are planning on doing? Because you're right, the traffic impacts have been horrendous. And often there's a lack of signage before you get into where you can't go. And so people actually end up doing crazy movements to try and get out of it.
Yeah, we'd have to have a chat to Lynette and see what kind of on that one, so we can look into that.
Thank you very much. Good to see you again. Papua Inner Central, please.
Okay, apologies from Simon, he's tied up with work today. I've got Emma, our governance manager here. So thanks for the opportunity to present. As usual, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on what's been happening in our Waipapa Papua Inner Central board area over the past month. At the public forum of our July meeting, we heard back from 2 recipients of our Youth Development Fund about the tournaments they'd competed in, and from Spokes Canterbury regarding cycling priorities in our board area. 2 of the major issues they highlighted were the dangers for cyclists crossing Innes Road at the QE2 Drive roundabout and on the section of Northcote Road between Main North Road and the railway line, which we've used some of our Better Off funding to start investigations on. At the meeting, we also approached one in Caledonian Road. There was another successful planting day at Papanui Bush in June in collaboration with local Dennis McMurtry, the Rotary Club of Papanui and Council. The planting was postponed due to bad weather the week earlier and volunteers turned out in force to continue the transformation of the reserve into a thriving native bush. This year's Masariki in the Zone was again a huge success. Hosted by Richmond Community Garden, Avebury House and the Avon Otakaro Network, locals and visitors enjoyed a variety of entertainment, activities and food. A hangi served 500 people, children roasted marshmallows and played games, and everyone appreciated the various musical acts as well as the scintillating fire spinning finale, which you can see there. The Maidaho Library recently celebrated their volunteers with a thank you morning tea, celebrating 64 years of being run entirely by local volunteers. This is a much loved facility in the heart of Maidaho, frequented by young and old, and special recognition was made of it one dedicated volunteer who has been serving at the library since 1974. The Te Oraka community pools on the Shirley Intermediate site continue their journey of transformation, led by the efforts of dedicated locals. A number of working bees, including one as seen here with students from Ferndale Te Ahu School, have tidied the pools themselves and tidied the site up, ready for a new modern pool fence and for some testing to be done with the existing plant that's there. The Phillipstown Hub. The Phillipstown Hub also held a Masariki event recently, bringing together several organisations. The hangi was popular alongside entertainment from a range of cultures, children's activities, massages and various stalls. And then finally, a quick update from our local parks. Salisbury House has been busy helping with planting in Essex Reserve, which you'll see at the top left there. The top right is some new planting and mulching by the entrance to the Multicultural Recreation and Community Centre, which looks fantastic. And the bottom photo there is from a Parks Unit staff planting day at Edgar McIntosh Park in Papanui. And that's all from us. Thank you.
Questions, anyone? Yanni, please.
Thank you. Is there any update on the traffic planning around the Papanui area? like, I mean, yeah, just wondering where we've got to with that. It's obviously there's increased development, increased traffic, and yeah,
Yeah, the board has requested that staff look into that, and we understand it.
And is your board getting post-construction audits of like safety, like for example, Langdon's Reynolds areas?
No.
Do you think that would be helpful, or are you getting any feedback from residents around the impact?
Yeah.
Actually, that works properly.
Okay, so you just said it is in the process, so we will be receiving something.
Okay,
So
that's
It
cool.
will be helpful to see that.
All right, and is there anything we can do as a council to support getting some sort of sense of overall planning for traffic in that area? Is there anything we can do to help that, or are you guys comfortable without referring?
I'd say just listen to us when we come and ask for help with it.
We make brilliant suggestions as well.
Right, all good.
Oh,
Thank you very much for coming in. Good to see you again. Thank you. Okay, we've got Marie and Helen. I think I saw Helen. Yeah. Or if we
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to be presenting the monthly report of the Waipuna Hoswell Hornby Rickerton Community Board. Now, we have two proposed signalized crossings in Hoswell, and this is coming before you today as a part A report, particularly agenda items 11 and 12, the last time I looked, unless the numbers have changed. In any case, the signalized crossing on Hoswell Junction Road was proposed in response to ongoing safety concerns at the site. In June 2023, a parent whose child was struck by a car on Hoswell Junction Road addressed the council, requesting improvements to ensure safer crossings for children walking to Mingi Mingi Hautoa Night Stream School. Around the same time, council staff also received a request from a Kaingaora representative advocating for safer, more direct access to the school. Kaingaora was then constructing housing units on the northeast side of Hoswell Junction Road. Now, key concerns included traffic speed and pedestrian safety. Although a traffic island currently exists to assist with school-related crossings, on-site assessments showed that high traffic volumes and speed leave few safe gaps for children to cross. Now, at our meeting last month, the Waipuna Community Board considered a deputation by Karina Duke, representing Living Streets Aotearoa. And following on from that, the board endorsed the staff recommendations without any change. Now, the signalized crossing on Dunbar's Road is similar to that proposal for Hoswell Junction Road. And it responds to ongoing safety concerns, particularly for children walking, cycling, or scooting to Oakland, Stekura, or Owaka School. There is currently no formal crossing between the roundabout and the Hoswell Road traffic signals. Children often cross near Bulkwell Street from the Aidenfield subdivision to reach the school, and bus stops are also located nearby. And same as at our meeting last month, the Waipuna Community Board heard a deputation from Mr. Matt Stewart and Karina Duke, representing Living Streets Aotearoa. And likewise, the board endorsed the staff recommendations without any changes.
Thank you. Just talking about two local Matariki events were held to celebrate and connect the community through cultural experience and shared celebration. The Greater Hornby Residents Association, hosted a combined market and Matariki Fun Day at South Hornby School, and Oak Development Trust hosted a celebration at Harrington Park. Back to Marie.
So the Waipuna Community Board has started presenting its Community Recognition Awards for this year. A Community Service Award was recently presented to Brody Murray for his outstanding service with the Christchurch City Council graffiti program. A Certificate of Appreciation was also presented to Karen Whitler to recognize her efforts in maintaining the garden areas at Hoswell Commons. And the next slide is the play space renewal project at Moffett Reserve in Hornby is now complete. The upgraded design retains a similar number of play feature while incorporating input from community consultation.
And on a positive note, the church corner safety improvements, this was a contentious intersection, as you all know. The safety improvements are now complete. This intersection had previously been in the top 3% in Otautahi Christchurch for crash risk, with 76 crashes in a 10-year period involving right turns from Main South Road. In addition to installing the traffic signals, the following were installed: a signalised pedestrian and cycle crossing, marked cycle lanes, a short section of the bus lane on Rickerton Road, and speed humps that won't be popular on all approaches to the intersection.
And that's all from us. Thank you.
Okay, good Scott. Any questions, anybody? Thank you so much for coming in. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Okey doke. We've got Jackie and probably Chris, is it? Just all.
Oh, yeah, he's got Professor Dog, yeah, he won't be in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm by myself, so I won't take half the time, only being half the team. But apologies from Board Chair Paul McMahon, who can't be here today. Highlights from our board. Well, we had fireworks. Fireworks are always a favourite. Here he is. He's come to join me. He's not leaving. Fireworks are always a favourite, as you know, and that celebrated the start of the school holidays, which was exciting for the kids, obviously. Hawaii Rangatahi has been working on getting their bus going for a couple of years, and it's something that we've been invested in as well. This group takes their bus around various places now that they have it. They launched it with a combined event with Kangaroa at Linwood housing complex. Sometimes the words just drop out of the brain, you know. These young people do take their work into the community to work with their young people, providing a space for them to go. Having the bus means now they can park up anywhere, so that is brilliant. And we also celebrated Samoan Language Week with cultural performances and so on. That's our board highlights. Just a couple of other things now. I know that we're looking at noise in the city. There's been a lot of talk about the noise in the city and how you're going to work around that. But as much as I hate to say it, we're going to talk about the residential industrial front. Because in Bromley, and we know that Bromley is a community that has had an awful lot of angst and pain from being on that fringe, we now have considerable noise coming up from various metal yards and car yards outside of their consenting hours. We're getting verbal complaints about it. It's on Facebook. I do believe that a very well-known Bromley resident has sent an email in, but he is not the only one complaining. It is a very real issue. And what people are being told is, oh, we need an absolute perfect address at 4 a.m. We want to know the street address. So they can't give a street address that's not actioned. They're being told to snap sense of. When they snap sense of, they said, no, you need to call at the time. And the end result is nobody seems to want to go and talk to these people making noise at 4 a.m. and do anything about it. And when something is done, it's like, okay, sorry, we won't do it again until next week. And then we'll say sorry again. And that is a continuous round. Now, sleep deprivation may not, you know, a lot of us as politicians, you know, we're sleep deprived, but continuously being woken up morning after morning at 4 a.m. and having broken sleep is actually very bad for your general health. So if we can perhaps have a look at how to mitigate those noise issues along that fringe as well, that would be helpful. And I also just want to commend staff and council on the work that they have been doing with our homeless issues in the city. We have many homeless in the Waihai Board area, a lot in the red zone, but also in other places. And these are very vulnerable people. Now, in my opinion, and it is my opinion, I believe that our central government is dropping the ball and passing on responsibility for these people. And they're also telling council to not attend to the well-beings for these people. Now, if government, central government and local government are not here to look after the people, all your core business goes out the door. I believe that people are core business, and I believe it is our responsibility to take care of all of our citizens, even the most vulnerable, because in actual fact, you are actually only one paycheck away from putting yourself into the position as much as you think you. So just, I want to commend those staff that are working, and also just implore you to remember that every person in the city is a citizen of the city, and we are responsible for all of them. And that gives you 30 seconds.
Don't miss with Celeste, one question, please.
Just on the issue of the rise in people who don't have a home, but what are you hearing from people in our communities? Because I know in the area that I represent, seeing a lot of people in living in tents in different places. So we're definitely noticing an increase. Are you seeing the same thing?
There's definitely an increase, and the rhetoric that's around is that these people choose rough sleeping. It's like, yes, you'll always have those groups, but when you're hearing of 66-year-old women living in vans because they can't get a rental and so on, it's anecdotal, obviously, because they don't have access to all of the paperwork, but it's definitely on the increase. And it's when I went out to Bexley, it's not just old single men. There's families, there's couples, there's young women. It's right across the board. It's no longer that cohort that we've seen of homeless people in the past, where they're alcoholic and moving along. These are people, even people with jobs are homeless. It's like when your benefit is $480 and a 2-bedroom flat is $420, what are you supposed to do? We need to be realistic. This is a very big issue facing our communities. And unless we want to go down the line of America, we have whole suburbs of homeless, then we need to turn this around. So I just, keep working with Comcare, keep working with the City Mission, and let's find solutions.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you very much. And thank you, Chris.
There's a delay on the video.
Okay, thanks, Peninsula, please. Lynn and Penelope. Welcome.
Morning, kia ora tātou. Good to be here today. Thank you. Oh. Yep, get in there. All right. So here's something that may sound a bit random, but I'm all open for that. That's fine. Peninsula is not just the edge of Christchurch. I think it's the mirror of Christchurch. I think it's a mirror of Christchurch, a microcosm, if you were. What happens in Banks Peninsula often reflects the challenges and the opportunities of the city as a whole. And because we are so deeply connected to the rest of the city, what happens in Banks Peninsula matters to Christchurch. So today, I'm here to share some updates and to ask for your ears, and to hear about the issues on Banks Peninsula this last month, which is July. One of those issues is public safety. At a recent deputation to the board, we heard from residents around Littleton, especially women who don't feel as safe as they could on their own streets. Now, I know public safety isn't within our formal delegation, but that doesn't mean it's not our job. Because as a community board, part of our role is to listen and to hear what matters most to our people and to advocate on their behalf. In response to the concerns raised, 6 local volunteers have formed a working group. They're gathering insights, working constructively with local police, and identifying the areas that need improvement. These include under-reporting incidents, confusion about how to seek help, and low expectations about what support they'll receive. When police staffing in and around Littleton was reduced to just 4 officers to cover shifts, sicknesses and time off, they were left to cover everything from car crashes to community responses, often into town as well. We understand police are undertaking a broader review of staffing and services, and we will advocate for fit for purpose policing for our area, and I encourage you to advocate for your areas during this review as well. On another very different note, staff presented to the board on the program of maintenance and renewals for the public toilet on the peninsula. I know this might sound like a small issue, but if you've ever travelled out our way in peak season, you'll know that it's not. And I have talked to this council before about it, but hear me out. Banks Peninsula accounts for nearly a quarter of Christchurch public toilets, 40 out of 168. That's a significant share for one ward, and it comes with real challenges. Our geography is spread out, visitor numbers keep growing, and for some facilities, the infrastructure simply isn't holding up. But we're grateful for the progress that has been made, like resolving water issues at the Little River toilets and installing a new alert system for wastewater so there's no more code browns. More concerning are the toilets in very poor condition. Camp Bay, Atahua Domain, and the toilet in Te Kao Bay, and several others in poor condition. While some of these are scheduled for renewal, others are not even on any list at all, and something needs to be fixed there. And as I've said before, it isn't just about convenience, it's about reputation, it's about public health, and it's about hosting well. If we want to offer high quality visitor experiences, protect our environment, and uphold basic dignity, we need clean, safe, accessible toilets, full stop. So when we see the issue pop up, when you guys see the issue pop up, and upcoming planning and support requests, now you know why. This is important to us. So we're rolling up our sleeves, listening to people and doing the work. But we always need and rely on your backing, your influence, your willingness to hear and remember these issues when you're making decisions for the city. Thank you for that. Mahinu, thanks for your time, and any questions?
Tyrone and Cal.
Thanks, Lynn, and congratulations for your unopposed re-election to community board. Very well deserved. So just regarding the police, so obviously there are some real core issues impacting Banks Peninsula. We know the boy racer issue. You've mentioned community safety. What other things? What police are sort of calibrating how they're going to supply their services to the city? What can this council do and the city do to advocate specifically for Banks Peninsula when that engagement happens? What are the things that we need to really?
Specifically listen to what the community wants, first of all. So we've heard that the community would like to have close to home connection to the police, and whatever that means. And also, so the antisocial road users actually working that out. So, and maybe more, just
That's
having people.
I'd say, yeah.
Okay,
cool.
close to
Thank
home.
Just 2 quick questions, Lynn. One, do you have a community watch operating in the peninsula? And 2, is the police station staffed at all?
Great questions. I know that there is like your neighbourhood watch in certain areas.
Neighbourhood watch, but not a drive around thing.
Yeah, and there is no manned station in Littleton.
Staff based there, but
They're not always
not
there.
open.
Yeah.
I went to the Allendale Hall the other day, a couple of 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they were just about ready to flick the switch on their new water. Has that happened? Must be very close.
Yeah, it's either very close or about to happen. Yes, very excited to have
Because it
that.
means that you can use it.
Yeah,
So
that's fantastic. Yeah,
extremely good news. And they're keeping the water for flushing the toilets off the roof directly for that tank, and they're got someone will tell me, a special filtering thing that makes it the drinking water very right up to standard. So
we have a UV sanitizer
and one of those.
Yes.
Yes. So that's
Yeah.
No, go and have a look. It was 3 weeks ago. They were just about ready to start it, so it must be extremely close now. So, good. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice photos.
Okay, so we've got Hallam.
Yeah.
Spraden Cashmere Heathcote.
Yes, apologies from here.
Lucky luck.
Can I cut the court? All right, so we'll get into it. Firstly, just wanted to give you a bit of an update on the Omokahi South Library rebuild. So the photos that you see there were taken on the 17th of July. So the building's gone and progress is moving at pace, which is super exciting. Quite close to that site is the South Library Sunday Farmers Market. And what you can see on the right there is the mobile library van, which went through, was there for the first time on the 20th of July and had 120 people going through that van in one day, including lots of children. So that's just a really great illustration, I think, of the importance of providing those sort of stand-in services while the library is under construction. That mobile van in concert with the Colombo Temporary Library have been really well used. So there is a gap there while that library is under construction, but yeah, we're really just looking forward to it coming back, and we appreciate the work the staff have done to facilitate that demand in the meantime. Coastal hazards adaptation planning. So the board received advice from the staff on the council's coastal hazards adaptation planning on the 26th of June. So this was work that had been done already in parts of Banks Peninsula. And staff are coming to us to present 3 options for future areas to look at for coastal hazards planning, with lots of trade-offs and pluses and minuses between them. The board has indicated that its preference would be to begin the next tranche of planning work in the sort of Woolston to Taylor's Mistake area for a number of reasons. It's sort of got a balance of complexity and vulnerability that we think is right for it at stage 2. And it's also one of the only areas along the coast that has a significant industrial area, which has got its own kind of challenges that we think we want to address sooner rather than later. So it's an area of high risk. There's also a really high level of community engagement. We've just got lots of community groups from Sumner through to Redcliffs and Woolston that are super interested in working with the council on adaptation planning. So I think it's a good sort of a natural place to start. And there's other kinds of challenges other than just the coastal hazards as well. There's fire risks on the hills too, which are impacted by climate change. Age-friendly Spraden Cashmere. So you may or may not know that the board has had for a long time now a sort of a working group with interested residents and volunteers focusing on issues of aged concern in our area. And they've done some really awesome work on very little funding. They've done a lot of research. They've done surveys around access to bus stops and public toilets, and they've engaged a support worker to sort of create a plan for an age-friendly community in Spraden Cashmere Heathcote. But the last time they came to us, what they said was that essentially it's all very well for them to do this work in our board area, but actually what really needed is a city-wide approach, a metro-wide approach. And their suggestion was that there's central government funding available on the table for councils who are doing this kind of work, who are developing policy or planning around supporting aged residents. And that if the council was to look into creating some sort of program, or it's not super defined what that could look like yet, obviously, but some sort of effort to work in that space, that there is potential for the council to be funded by central government to do that work. So that's all very vague at this stage, but they're going to come back. They'd like to speak to council, but they're going to wait till after the election just to ensure that they've got sort of a fresh faces to listen to them when they do their presentation. Fresh in the sense of, no longer exhausted. Obviously the same faces. Yeah. Yeah, just to clarify that. Yeah. Gonna get a bit of work done. Yeah. And finally,
What?
So lucky last, two of the cable lights, this is an issue that's had huge amount of community interest, which the board will be addressing at the end of this month in a dedicated meeting. We've got about 20 people coming to speak to the board. So yeah, we're expecting it to be a lively event.
Excellent. One question from Tim.
First of all, we had a meeting at the Cashmere Club with interested residents about the rebuild of the Cashmere, the South Library, and it was absolutely fantastic. And what came from that was that all the local preschools and the junior classes in the local schools have arranged with the contractors to come down, and they've left a gap of, sight gap, not a gap in the fence. And they'll come down and the contractors will talk with them and how they're going in progress. So that was really, really cool. And secondly, and probably more importantly, we're losing Jess to the other side of the Tasman. So thank you very much for all you've done for us. And just to remind your fellow Australians, we did invent the pavlova.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you.
So yeah, the board's been very, very appreciative of all the work just done for us over the last few months since you joined us. So yeah, well done, best.
Very, very good to see you. Good, thank you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the community board reports. And I understand we only have one more before the election with everyone in. So I'm happy to move, and James is happy to second it, that we receive the monthly reports.
Sorry, can I
Yes,
good question. I thought it was actually really important that one of the community boards was raised about the police restructuring. I wonder if we need a formal resolution around that, because I know that other boards, other communities also have a concern. And I just wonder if we could formally have some either noting provision or formal recommendation that the council meet with the police to discuss the proposal.
All council you're talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it would be helpful.
Kews Banks Peninsula, that's the most affected. So perhaps the mayor and
I've got the same concerns as everyone. And I know Mark's probably had the same concerns with me. I'm just trying to find a vehicle where we can actually just have a face-to-face conversation to understand what's being proposed and how we can best work with it.
If we can send you out the information as soon as we got it. So
yeah, which I appreciate. Yeah, and I know Mark came back as well.
Yeah, I was going to raise the same thing because I just note in the media that McLean's Island and a few of those places have popped up as not going to be serviced. So I think it's really important that as a council we do meet with police before they make their decisions and just give them some really clear feedback of the expectations of the people of Christchurch going forward as far as policing goes. So whenever that timing suits for when they make their decisions. Thank you.
And the other question I had of council staff is we've heard from a community board. We've also heard from a community board the concern around the impact of noise, industrial residential interface.
A community board.
A community board. We had a plan change underway. The government made their announcement. Are we able to get some advice around how we seek an exemption to continue that plan change to try and deal? Are we?
There's a paper coming back on.
Yeah, there's new plan changes don't start. It's the ones that are in train continue.
So what's the time frame around that? Because obviously this is a really sensitive issue to the community.
This
I
report
think it was
comes back
mentioned
on
yesterday, but do you want to be clear with him today, John?
Sorry.
I think it was mentioned yesterday in the briefing when the paper's coming back, but do you want?
Yeah, I think it's coming back, guys, at intervals of September.
Okay. The last comment.
Just wondering, 'cause part of it was about the plan change, but part of it was about that enforcement piece. And so, and we know that, we don't do a lot of enforcement out of normal office hours. Parking finishes quite early unless there's a specific hazard kind of thing. And the same with this one. I'm wondering if we could get some advice on how we can improve that kind of noise and parking kind of enforcement space and maybe options, because there's the potential for it to cost a little bit more. So just having an understanding of what we could do and what it might cost would inform like the next annual plan, for example. Okay, yeah, that would be really good. So that just gets noted as an action or something. Yeah, thanks.
I think councillors wanted a resolution that, so I was just talking to Katie to get it up.
You want a resolution or just,
No,
we'll
this
have
is,
to do it.
this is the one about the
Please, I think it'd be good to have it.
resolution or the
Okay.
resolution or noting provision.
Noting's fine. You guys can just add, I think everyone's pretty much in agreement. We-
And maybe just noting that we're going to have a workshop of organise a workshop or information session of some sort on options for nighttime enforcement of various things. Like the noise, parking, a range of things that have been popping up over the last week.
So we can just.
Yes. So we just,
And the other thing we may wish to note, just because it's an important issue that got raised around the homelessness, council is getting a report on the 3rd of September around homelessness. It's important to acknowledge that work is underway on that.
so I think that's just noting, so we'll just carry on with what we're doing and we receive that to accept, receive the board monthly reports. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, thank you, that very much, that's carried, and we've got noting, there's a provision there.